it's your girl. This is Rhonda Lawson, and I am getting ready to get the show started. I'm excited. I already have my guest in the studio, so you stay tuned. We're about to make this thing pop. Hey, everybody, it's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and I am back with another episode of Horizons, the Author Lounge. And right now I have a debut author with me. I cannot wait to talk with her because she just kind of took this whole literary thing by storm. I mean, because I knew her prior to her starting her writing career, and all of a sudden I'm seeing her promoting a book. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't know she was an author. I'm like, maybe that's a different Chanel. And it was the same Chanel. That's like, oh, I had to get her on the show. So I want to introduce to you guys, present to others, Miss C.L. Ramos, and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
And I'm excited. Okay, I'm excited because you said that I am your first interview for the show, for the book, and so that makes me even more excited because that's what this show is all about. This show is about promoting up and coming authors, supporting you all in everything that you're doing, and so when I found out that you had a book, and then you didn't just write just anything, you wrote a book. Sometimes some people want to write their memoirs. Some people will maybe write a children's book, because they're trying to dabble a little bit. But you decided to go all the way. So tell me a bit about your book. Tell me about the name, and if you have the book with you, which I hope you do, show us the cover. And I'm going to just turn it over to you.
Sure. This is my book. This is the cover, and it is called Allure of the Siren, Temptation, Deception, and Redemption. And it is a love story, but it also has crime, it has mystery, it has suspense, it has all these things. It would be considered a boy love genre book. So if you ever heard of boy love stories, that's this kind of story with all those other things added to it.
Okay, now tell us about a boy genre book. What is a boy love story?
So boy love it started a long time ago in the 70s from Japan. That was, I guess, pronounced Yao. And it was basically about man plus man type of romance stories. And it was women that normally wrote it for women. And so now in modern times, it's become, this huge thing where there's so many boy love TV series that are coming out, and majority of boy love TV series are from books. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to write a boy love story because I am a part of a boy love fandom. And that's what gave me the inspiration to start writing this.
Now, see, that's interesting because I don't know. When I think of a boy love story, I don't think of women writing those stories. So, what made you decide? What first even got you interested in it? And then why did you say you wanted to write this particular story?
So last year I got into watching boy love TV series, which from Thailand, and it was one series I watched, and I really loved that show. And I also wound up getting really into the actors that was a part of that show. And then one actor in specifically, his name is Build Jakapan Putha. He was one of the actors in that show, and I got really interested in him. And so I joined his fandom. And so I joined his fandom in January of this year. And during the fandom, I met my friends and through the fandom life. And they, after seeing, I started writing fan fiction stories using the character that Build was in the show that I had watched. And once I realized I could write a decent story, I wrote like one whole story in 30 days, fan fiction. Then
Wow.
I wrote two other ongoing stories, got like 10 chapters in one, 6 chapters in another. And after I got so many people reading on Wattpad, I had like 30,000 people read my stories. And some
Wonderful.
people were commenting like, oh my goodness, your story's so good. Or they're voting on it and like, we just love this story so much. That's was like, okay, I can write a story. I can write a decent story. And so my friends had all read my fan fictions and they're like, you know what? You should write a story for Build. Like you should write one for him. And they was like, write a BL story. And I had never planned on writing my own because there was another story that I had been saying for 13 years I was going to write. So that was actually, I tested myself with the fan fiction so I could write that story that I've been waiting for 13 years to do. But then
Yeah.
after my friends was like, write a story for Build. Like you should do it. Like write him a BL story and see if you can get it turned into a series. I'm like, all right, this is a challenge. Why not? Right. And it's so much harder writing your own story than fan fiction because fan fiction, you watch the shows, so you know the characters, you know their personalities, you're already aware, and then you just kind
Right.
of relate a different kind of story using those personalities that you already know. Whereas writing my own original story, I have to build everything from scratch, the personalities, the characters, everything. And that was so difficult for me. So I loved the challenge, but they challenged me and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. And I did it. So
Well, I've got to say, what I really love is the excitement in your voice as you're talking about your process moving up to writing your book. Often, sometimes we get authors who just don't sound excited. When I first became an author, I would meet another author and I say, "Hey, what's your book about?" And let's just pretend this is their book. They'll be like, um, "It's it's on the back of the book. You can read it." I'm like, trying to get you to talk to me about your book. But they didn't have that excitement in them. But I'm hearing that excitement in your voice. And what it does is when you are excited about your book, other people get excited about your book and they want to read it. So I encourage you to, oh, I just lost my earring, girl. I encourage you to stay excited about your story.
yeah, I'm very excited about it. Like, honestly, I didn't even think that I could pull this off. Like, you know how you started and you're like, I mean, and even you actually, I don't know if you remember, but you encouraged me to write my own story. This was like not that long ago. And I was like, I'm too busy. I don't have enough time. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm not going to write. And then the fact that I actually did this, and then when I was writing this, it was during a really hard time in my life. Like I was really sick. I was in and out of the doctors, getting all
Yes.
these different procedures. I was working 50 to 68 hours per week. Like I was taking care of my family as a single mom, like all these things that could have technically should have potentially hindered me from being able to accomplish this. But it was almost like an outlet, like everything that I'm going through. And
Yeah.
now I have this outlet to put all my all in and kind of separate myself from the troubles that I was going through in my own personal life too. Like, let me put that in and use that trauma or that pain or whatever that's going on to like write a book that is, taking everything and putting it in that. So because of that, it really helped me, I guess, like separating myself from my personal circumstances and writing this book.
Mhm.
And it was, I mean, like I
You were
wrote
able to go to a different world.
yeah, yeah, and I was able to like I poured everything that I felt emotionally into my book. And it's like I wrote it in 3 months, 60,000 words in 3 months. And I'm just
It's
like,
wonderful.
how did I do that? Yeah, but it
Yeah,
was worth it.
that is awesome. Congratulations on that because I'm hearing a lot of things. First of all, one thing I did hear that I want to point out before I forget is the fact that you used Wattpad. And a lot of authors don't realize how much of a launching pad Wattpad can be. I the first time I heard about it was when my daughter was still basically a young teenager, and I was trying to get her to read, and she said, "I am reading." I'm like, "Reading what?" Because all I saw her doing was get on the computer, and she said, "I'm reading Wattpad. I'm reading these short stories on Wattpad." And I'm like, "What in the world is Wattpad?" And then come to find out, a lot of young people are reading that way. So we as authors have to adapt to where our audience is. We
Mm.
have to adapt to new ways of reading. So when I remember when I first started, it was all about the hard copy book. the paperback book. We had to have the paperback book. And then all of a sudden they said, well, there are ebooks. And I'm like, how are we supposed to sign an ebook? We can't sign an ebook. And next thing you know, audiobooks came up. And then I had a cousin who told me, if you put your books on audiobook, I would read them all. I just don't have time to read. I can't sit and read a book anymore. So, we have to go where our audience is, and we may wind up finding a whole new audience when we do something a little bit different. So what made you decide to use Wattpad, or how did you discover Wattpad, and what made you realize that might be the platform to launch your book?
Okay, so I wasn't able to launch my book on Wattpad. So
Okay.
Wattpad was where I wrote my fan fictions. And that's where a lot of people write fan fictions on.
Mhm.
And so that was like what I used to test myself to see if I could write a good story, because there's so many people on there that are looking for stories like boy love stories. And so me like writing those stories on there, I had such a huge audience that would find my book and my stories and actually read them. And so that gave me, like, from all the encouragement and the voting and the comments, it showed me that I wrote a good story, because everybody's like, oh, I love it. When's the next chapter? I can't wait. Come on for the next chapter. They're just like anticipating every chapter that I was writing. And so then once I completed the first one completely, people are still reading it. Even now to this day, people are still reading it, and like the thousands just keep ticking and ticking. And
I
so
love that.
after that, I was like, okay, I can write a decent story. My friends were like, write this story. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do it. And so this book, I have launched it on Amazon. It's on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Kobo, Google Play, and iTunes. So it's paperback only on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, and then it's ebook on all those other platforms.
Okay, that's wonderful. Now, did you publish yourself, or did you find
I
you have
self-published.
been busy?
I self-published because I don't believe, and now someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe that boy love stories can be traditionally published. At least that's not what when I tried to do research about it, I couldn't find that that's something that someone would take on. And so this one was like, okay, I'm gonna self-publish it. But when I write my, maybe my third book, that may not be, it's not going to be a boy love story, then I'll try to get traditionally published for that one.
So you say your third book, so you're already working on your second.
I'm working on my sequel of Allure the Siren.
Okay, you let it slip, so you might as well let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, so I am gonna I'm formulating everything for the sequel for Allure of the Siren. It will be called Abyss of the Siren, Darkness to Light. And that one will, I don't know when it'll be finished. Probably it depends on what happens, because I got a lot going on over the next few months. But I would like to have it done, by like April, May. That's the goal.
Okay. Now, I know you said boy love, but is it kind of a fantasy fiction story, or is it just a contemporary story? How would you describe it?
I wouldn't describe it fantasy, because it's modern day.
Okay.
And basically what the story is about is two rival detectives have to work together to solve a case of strippers becoming missing. And what's happening with these strippers, or why they're becoming missing, is because they are being human trafficked, and
Mm.
they're being like experimented on. So
Oh,
yeah, and so throughout the case of trying to find them, and they working together, where they hated each other at first, then they wound up falling for each other. And so you see, like, in the story, how they wound up, romance winds up blossoming in a time that is when they're doing investigative work. And then you see the dynamic between the main character Dao and his mother, and how they have like a tumultuous relationship. You see the relationship between Chisai and his parents, and how there's some disconnect there, and where he's wishes that his parents loved him more, and they don't. You see the relationships with the characters and their best friends, and so it's so many different layers to it. It's got the really intense moments, it got the really happy moments, it got trauma moments, crime, suspense, mystery, all of those things combined. And then Dao, the main character, he's the type of detective that'll do anything to solve a case. And so to solve the case of finding out why these strippers are missing, he goes undercover as a stripper. So that's
You have
kind
a
of
lot
like,
going on in this story. I love it.
it's a lot, but it all flows.
Now, one thing that's also a little different is that you have really embraced the Asian culture in this book, and I'm sure the other books as well.
Yeah, so yep, because my fan fictions were written off of a Thai BL story, Thai BL show, and the characters are Thai. So like my wording and like some of the words I use in my book, it's connected to the Thai language, even though it was written in English. So like for instance, kun is what they use for Mr. And so in my book, you'll see that I use kun a lot when they're speaking to, someone else. Or P, like that's like you say that in respect to someone else. So like P'd or PB or P, like that's a term that they use for as a form of respect to someone that is older than them. And then
Oh,
Nong is used for someone that's younger than them. In my book, there's like the type of food that they eat there. So there's different names of food that is Thai cuisine that I mentioned. The story is set in Bangkok, so everything that's spoken about is things that you would see in Bangkok if you were to go visit there. I use the area of Sukhumvit. I use like their like I guess all of the area, like even like the food places that I use are actual real food places, restaurants that you can go to in Bangkok and Sukhumvit area and things like that. So it is all wrapped around that type of that setting.
so which came first for you? Was it your love for the Thai culture, or was it because you were reading the fan fiction and then you kind of started learning more about the culture?
It was actually watching Thai boy love series shows. That came first for me. And then what happened, how I even wrote the fan fiction was because the actor Build had went on a hiatus and I had missed him. And so I was like, I'm going to write his last character as a fan fiction. It was to test myself, but it was also to like quell my nerves about like, I miss him. He hiatus. When is he going?
Uh-oh. I think you froze a little bit. Hopefully you'll be back. See,
Okay.
these are oh, are you back?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I was afraid.
Sorry. I don't know what happened. It looked fine on my, I don't know, because I got all my bars. I don't know what happened. Sorry about that. But basically it was the writing the fan fiction was to quell my nerves because I was waiting for him on his hiatus. Also to test myself to see if I could write a good story. So it was like a combination of those two. And then once I proved that I could write a decent story and my friends challenged me to write this, that's how that happened. So and then also when I went to Thailand this year. So I went to Thailand twice this year. And once I got there, I just loved it so much. Like the people were so nice and I loved
Thailand
the
is beautiful.
food and yes, it's so great. And I was like, oh my goodness, it felt like going to a second home almost. Like it felt so warm there and everybody was so kind and warm that actually like amplified my desire to like move there and then also to like delve more into Asian culture and Thai culture specifically.
Now you're currently in the DMV, correct?
I am. I am
So
currently.
that's gonna be a big difference for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Going from the DMV to Thailand. Is it a little bit I mean, because I know there are parts of Thailand that are very fast paced. It's the city. And then there are
Mhm.
parts that just are a little bit more relaxed. Which part are you going to? And are you going to be able to adapt very easily? I think you will adapt very easily from this fast paced culture that's here in the DMV.
Well, Bangkok is very fast paced. So it
Okay.
reminds me of any like metropolitan city that's just, go, go, go. It's always constant traffic. It's
Right.
always constant people. There's shops everywhere. There's food everywhere. The only difference is in a different culture, a different language, different language on the buildings and things like that, Thai
Yes.
language. But other than that,
And then you
it's
get
fast
used to
paced.
that.
Huh?
I say you get used to that. I spent 2 years
Yeah.
in Korea and I got used to it.
Hmm.
I knew
You
where I
get
was
used to
going.
it. And I love fast paced. Honestly, right now I live in suburbia. So for me to be able to go and live like in a fast pace area where I can just walk out the house and like, or the apartment or wherever I'm living, and just there's the laundromat, there's some food, there's this mall, it's like that is something I've always wanted to be able to do. So it's nice that I'll be able to do it, even though it's, on the other side of the world.
Yeah, it is on the other side of the world, but you're absolutely right. There are certain parts of countries that are very fast paced, and the only reason you know you're in a different country is because the signs look different. But
Mm-hmm.
everything is fast paced, and you're going to Bangkok, so just like you said, it's going to be just like home.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I am jealous of you. I mean, you have fulfilled your dream of becoming an author, and you're sticking with it. You're going to be experiencing another culture. There's so much going on for you, so that's an awesome thing.
Yeah, and like another reason why I wrote this story is to get it
Mhm.
turned into a TV series. So my main reason for going to Thailand to live there is to get my book turned into a Thai boy love series out there. And so I'm currently in the works of that. I can't really say more than that right now because
Right.
nothing is signed up. Like no contracts are signed yet, no agreements are signed yet. So I have to keep, a lot of things in the low right now. But it is all in works to make this happen. And if my intuition is correct, it'll air sometime in 2025, like the end of 2025, but we'll see.
You better speak that into existence.
Yeah, I believe it. I'm like, by the time I turn 40 years old, my series will air. Like by fall 2025, y'all can stamp it. Stamp that. You can mark my words.
Okay,
That
we're gonna put this in our social media memories. So we're gonna
yeah.
come back to this in a year.
Yeah, come back. Well, I said 2025. So
Okay, 2 years.
that's less than 2 years. But yeah. But by fall 2025, but the process, everything will have to start next year. To get a series that airs in 2025, all the legwork has to start in 2024. So yeah, once everything is signed on the dotted line, an announcement will be made and then we can go from there. But yep, that's what I'm working on currently.
Well, I'm excited for you, and I don't want to say the name wrong. I think it's Neetu Singh.
Yeah, I call her baby sis. I know who she is.
Okay, she says she's praying every day that it happens.
Yeah, all my friends like know that I'm trying to get this turned into a series, and everybody's like, "We gotta get it, we gotta get it." Every day they're like, "Let's do this." I'm like, "I'm doing everything I can." Trust me, it's a lot of legwork on the back end, and it's not easy for sure because not only am I a Black woman, I'm an American, and I'm trying to go into a country that's on the other side of the world, in a country in a language that I don't speak, and a culture that I'm still learning. You know what I mean? And I'm asking these people, these Thai people, please accept my book. Please turn my book into a series, So it's like, who is this person? And like, what? Like, what does she want? But I'm like, yeah, because this is something that needs to be made. And I'm very adamant about that because it's a really amazing story. And I've watched tons of boy love stories, and there's none that's like mine. There's none that has the feel of mine, none that has a storyline like mine, none that goes in depth like mine. And I think that it would be a fresh take to boy love. My story would be, and I think that it really deserves to be a series. And
Well,
so,
what I'm hearing in the story though is that if you took the boy love aspect out of the book altogether, it's still a complete story.
mhm,
It's a crime fiction. You have your character who will do everything he has to do to solve the case, even if it means becoming a stripper. So even if you took the boy love piece out of it, you have a whole story, and I
yeah,
think that's that magic sauce that makes a book successful, because you don't have to just dwell on one specific thing and say this is what my story is about. Anybody can pick up this story and would still enjoy it because the
mhm.
characters just happen to be boy love, but it doesn't make them who they are.
Right, exactly. And I will like people, I've told so many people because when I've talked to my friends and stuff about it, some people they're not homophobic, but they're like, I don't want to read something that has guy on guy, but it's like if
They
you
read Elin Harris back in the day, so it's all good.
I'm just saying, if you pull yourself away from this, oh, I don't want to read no gay story, and understand that this is a full story that has so many dynamics. It has friendship dynamics, mother and son dynamics, son and parent dynamics,
Yes.
workplace dynamics, things that you see in regular day life that you could potentially go through, or you may have gone through it and you may read it in this story. It's like it's so much more than just, oh, it's guy on guy. So it's like, kind of be a little bit open-minded, and
Yeah.
and yes, it's graphic in the sense that there's cursing. It's graphic in the sense that the love scenes are explicit, but you can skip over that part if it's really something that'll bother you, but you'll get the sense of it. And even with my reviews, I've had people that my friends that have read it and are just like, I don't know, but I'll read it anyway. And it's showing in my reviews that right now, currently, more than 20 people have bought. But I mean, it's so hard getting people to write reviews. But
Well,
20 people.
that will tell you your number of reviews. How long has the book been out? When did
October
you publish?
12th, it was
Yeah.
published. So not too
So
much yet.
that's doing pretty well.
Yeah. So 20 people have gave 5-star reviews, and I hope the rest of the people that buy start writing reviews, because then it'll be way more than 20. But it's hard to get people to write reviews, and I understand that, and I'm just grateful for the people that have done it so far. But if more people could do it, that would help, to get the book more seen and more known, especially in Amazon that has 48 million books currently in their thing. Like, come on, y'all, and give me some, do a little bit of reviewing. Get
Well,
this thing.
I did put your link
Yes.
in the chat, and it's also on the screen for anybody who wants to check out this book. We are running out of time, unfortunately. So hold the book up one more time and
Sure.
remind us of the title.
And it's such a unique, isn't it such a unique cover? Come
It's
on,
a
y'all.
beautiful
I
cover.
ain't seen
I
nobody
love
cover like
it.
this. So yeah, it's Allure the Siren, Temptation, Deception, and Redemption by C.L. Ramos, which is me. And it is again on Amazon, and it's on Barnes and Nobles, it's on Kobo, iTunes, and Google Play.
You do your thing, girl. I'm
Thank
telling
you
you.
so much.
Well, I mean, in serious though, I'm not just saying it because you're on the show. I really love how you put together your plan. Like I said, we met each other probably a couple years ago, mostly
Mhm.
through social media. But just to watch your trajectory from the business you had before to saying I want to write a book, and I do remember when you said that, and I was like, yes, write that book. And then you went from there to actually making it happen, and now that it's out, you're promoting it, and you're getting out there, so you have a plan, and then you have other plans for it as well.
Yeah.
So you had a plan and you stuck with that plan, and I think that's amazing because not everybody's able to do that.
Thank you so much.
You're so very welcome. So now we do have a couple of minutes left.
Okay.
So we talked about the book. You did mention you have a second book. Do you have an idea of when that one's going to be out?
Yeah, so it's going to be the sequel of this book, because this book had I left it kind of open-ended, and I did that on purpose because I wanted to write a sequel. And so the sequel will be called Abyss of the Siren,
Oh,
Darkness to Light. And that one, I'm like fleshing it all out of how I want to do it, and like everything that I want to put in it. Just kind of like giving myself a rough outline. Most
yes.
of the time, I never really know what I'm gonna say until I start writing. So I kind of have like bullet points of what I think I'm gonna say, and then once I start writing, it morphs into whatever it morphs. So sometimes I don't even ever even use all of it, or some more thoughts will come in while I'm writing, and then it just adds on and adds on that way.
Yes.
But I plan on getting started writing in the next few weeks. I want to try to do my Audible before I start writing the next book
Are you
of
going to
this.
voice it yourself?
I
Are you
want to do it myself. I want to do my
okay?
Audible myself. So yeah, but hopefully by May next year at the latest, the sequel will be out.
All right. Well, I'm wishing you all the best. And if
Thank
there's
you.
any way that I can continue to support, all you have to do is just say the word, and
Thank you
I'm
so
there for
much.
you.
I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much. And thank you for
Thank
being
you.
on the show tonight. Once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
And I will be reading this book. I'm not afraid of reading the boy love. Like I said, I was into England Harris. If I can read England Harris, I can read other boy love as well. So
Yeah. Please do, and please let me know what you think, and please review afterwards.
I got you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you guys, this is author C.L. Ramos. She just wrote her debut novel, Allure of the Siren, correct?
Correct.
Yes, Allure of the Siren. So, guys, get out. I'm going to go ahead and put the link back on the screen for those of you who may have missed it the first time. There it is. So make sure you guys go out and order this book. You can go to the website, you can go to Kobo, you can go to Amazon, Barnes and Noble. It's out there. All you got to do is just look for it.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
all right. Well, you enjoy the rest of your evening. And if I don't get to talk to you again, Merry Christmas.
Same to you.
All right. God bless you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Same to you. Bye.
Okay, that was author C.L. Ramos. Now, just before I bring on the next author, I have something exciting that I want to show you guys. As you know, in 2 months, we'll be celebrating the 8th annual Black History Month Literary Weekend. And you may have seen the save the date in prior shows, but now I'm about to announce the authors who will be a part of the Black History Month Literary Weekend 2024. I am looking so forward to Black History Month Literary Weekend 2024. And what I just showed you is only a piece of what is to come, because there's so much more I need to show you guys, but I have to give it to you in little bits. If I give y'all too much, you're going to get overwhelmed. So I have to give it to you in bits and pieces. But you guys are going to have a good time. So if you are in the DMV area, make sure that you get your ticket for the Ivory and Cream Affair, which is our culminating event for the Black History Month Literary Weekend. And it will take place on February 24th at 11 a.m., as you saw at the Harborside Hotel. The early bird sales are going to start Wednesday. So make sure you stay in touch with the Meet the World Image Solutions Facebook and Instagram pages so you can get more information, so you can get your tickets as soon as they go on sale. But now I'm about to bring on our next guest, Miss Shalonda McFarland.
Hello.
How are you, ma'am?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am great. It's so good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Now, for those who don't know, I went to the National Black Book Festival back in October. I've gone there every year for the last 6 years. And during COVID, we didn't actually go to Houston, but we were still doing interviews on online. So we still were doing this. So the 6th year as the literary correspondent, I went to the National Black Book Festival. And for the past couple of years, I was doing a promotion where people could put in their names and I would draw the winner. And the winner would receive a publicity package. So this year, my winner was Shalonda.
Yay!
Yeah, so it was so funny because when I texted her, all she wrote back was, wow, just wow.
I remember when you at the event when you announced it, I was like, Lord, I want that. I want to win that. I just left it alone, and oh my goodness! And remember, I didn't even hear my name being called.
You really didn't. I was like, where is Shalonda? I guess she's not here. I'll just have to call her. But I know the microphone was a little low.
Yes, so that is a blessing. Thank you so much.
Well, I am really glad to be working with you, and I'm looking forward to putting together your packages. So, of course, you have the interview that you're doing now. We'll be doing a press release for you. I'll be making you a one sheet, and we'll also be pitching you to some media in your area so we can help you to promote your books. And you have quite a few of those books.
Yes, I'm working hard over here. So I have 8 books so far, and workbooks, and I am a Christian author, so I have fiction and nonfiction books, and just trying to get unique stories out.
Well, tell us about the books. Are they fiction or nonfiction?
Both.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Split pretty evenly. So my first book was a book about finances. It's called A Christian's Worst Witness: From Being Broke to Being Blessed. And so that was my first actual book. And I started writing when I was, the first thing I wrote was a newsletter. So I was just doing newsletters about finances, and it was getting too long. I wanted my newsletter to be one page, and I couldn't fit it all in. So I started writing that book when I was on maternity leave. And so that was the time that, had to write, got that out. And after that came a slew of other books. 2 other nonfiction books are prayer books. So Praying with Purpose, and it's basically just about the foundational being effective in the foundation about being effective in prayer. And that is actually my top selling nonfiction book. Okay. I was so surprised because I didn't set out to write a book about prayer. I'll talk about that later if we have time. And then I have another prayer book, and it's about praying over your pastor. And so
forget about that.
Right, we do. And my pastor, I quote him. He says, "Don't tell me you love me if you don't pray for me." And it's true. We do forget about them. They have the hardest job, I think. After being, being a mother, maybe is the hardest job. But beyond that, they have a hard job, and so I wrote about that. How to specific prayer targets about that. And then I have, and I'm actually going to have another book coming out too about prayer. And then on the fiction side, so I like unique stories. So my first fiction book was The Win, and it's about 5 families who win $10 million in a church lottery pool. And so it's very funny and surprising, and kind of the debates, increases the debate on whether Christians should even play the lottery. So I touch on a lot of points. And so the main character, her name is Laura, and her husband, she's the one that's kind of like the lottery pool person, and some crazy stuff goes on in her family, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of crazy stuff going on. So and I followed that up with a sequel, The Win 2. And then I switched gears totally. And my Sunday swap is about, it's a body swap book. And I've debated on, oh my goodness, every time, each time I write the book, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I should really write this because, it's like fantasy, and it's about a pastor who swaps bodies with his female secretary. And what all that entails. They learn to appreciate each other.
And that's a
And
Christian story?
say again?
Is that a Christian story?
It is. So
You know what
all
though?
my books are clean
It
Christian.
makes me think of the Parent Swap, I believe it was called back in the
Uh,
day.
well, Freaky Friday is the,
Yeah, Freaky Friday. That's what I'm
yes,
thinking of. That's
right, right,
where
yes,
the mother and daughter switch places for the day.
exactly. So that's
Yeah.
why that's what my little tagline is: Freaky Friday meets the church. So,
I like
so
that. That's interesting.
thank you. Yes, I try to do stories like with a twist. I mean, because there's nothing new under the sun, but we can put our own twist on it as authors and make it more interesting, or just bring a different appeal to it. So
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm putting your the link to your website in the chat so
okay,
people can get a closer look at these books. And I do like the fact that you're not in a box. You write fiction and nonfiction, and then your fiction sounds like they still sound like fun books to read. They're not stiff, because sometimes some people think that Christian books are very staunch. Everything has to be a certain formula. You can't go past that, and if you
right,
do, it's not really a Christian book. So,
right.
but you've made your books written in such a way to show that Christians can still have fun. We're still real people.
Yes, we have the most fun.
Yes.
We really do. So yes, my books are fun. They're funny.
Mhm.
I like reading them myself, so I write books that I would want to read. And so yeah, I think people will enjoy them. At the Did my heart good at the book fair. I had a lady came up to me, and she was like, she came really early in the day, and she had came because she bought one of my books for the first time at another previous book fair, and she
Mhm.
said, and it was the Win, and she said, well, she bought the Win and Sunday Swap, and she came back and she said, I'm coming back because I wanted to get book 2 in the Win. And I was like, oh my goodness, you just did my heart good today. So it's nice when people read your books and then they want to read more. So yeah, I love it when people tell me how much they like it. And your previous author was talking about reviews. That's how you show an author that you
Yes.
really love their work and
Yes.
support their work. That's the best way, is to write a review. And even if it's even if it's not a 5-star review, just review. It gets the attention. The more reviews that we get as independent authors, it gets the attention of other readers, and it kind of opens up Amazon's formula to show our books to more readers.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, they're going to promote books that it looks like people want. And so you might think, well, I'm new. How's my book going to get out there if they're not helping me to promote it? You've got to
Right.
get it out there. There are different ways to do it, different tools that Amazon offers. But
Mm-hmm.
in order for the book to really do well, we've got to have the support of our readers. Um,
Absolutely.
tell people about the book, share a post,
Right.
go back and leave a review. None of those things cost money.
Right. And everything helps. Every little thing helps. And I
Mhm.
even on my website, I announce when I actually have free ebooks, and I utilize Amazon's free ebook download promotions, and I
Mhm.
do some freebies. So if you want to know when those are going to occur, please go to my website, ShalondaMcFarland.com, and sign up for my newsletter, and I'll send it out, and I will let you know when I have free events. Oh, speaking of, right now there is if you go to my website, you can get a free book. Mocha Girls Read, excuse me, Mocha
Mhm.
Girls Read is featuring Sunday Swap in a giveaway that's going on right now, and it's going to be on for
Wonderful.
about a couple of weeks. So the details are on my website. You can check it out.
Okay, so that you hear that, Mocha Girls Read. So go to the website, which is on the screen right now, ShalondaMcFarland.com, and find out about the Mocha Girls Read book giveaway. I think you want to be a part of that. I was actually a part of that when I released my book Trust. So it's always good to get some new readers, and Mocha Girls Read is huge.
Awesome.
Yes. So keep doing what you're doing. So what is your latest book? What is the book that you just released?
Sunday Swap is my latest.
Okay, when was it released?
Oh boy, let me see. Let's just say 6 months ago, maybe. I'm in a time warp. So I might be totally off because I'm currently in the process of writing another book, and I'm 36,000 words in. So
nice.
My mind is in that world.
So this is going to not be a novella. This is going to be a full novel. Then the next book.
Oh yes, for sure, yes. And actually, I'm working on a series. So I'm working on book 1 in a 3-book series is what I have plans for. So.
Okay, so this next book is going to be the beginning of a new series.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I haven't written a 3-book series before, so it's. I hope I will get the process faster. I saw on your previous author, I think she did a book in 6 months or something like that, or 3 months. I'm like, oh, I want to be her when I grow up. I'm telling you, it's a challenge to find time to write when you are a mother, and I also have a full-time job.
Trust me, I understand. Trust me, I understand. It's like I get off work and I go straight to this computer.
Yes. Yes, I get it for sure.
I do understand. Well, that's okay. You're still doing it though. I mean, I feel like you're on your journey. And are you self-published?
I am.
So that means that you don't have the same deadlines that traditionally published authors have. A lot of people say, I want to have a big publisher. I want to be with Kensington and so forth. And what they don't realize is that when you have a traditional publisher, you're going to have traditional deadlines.
Right. I'm not there yet. I got deadlines on my job. So I don't need them for right now. And then also, I mean, you lose some control too when you
exactly. That was my next point.
Right. And if don't get me wrong, I would love to be with a big publishing house, and it makes a lot of things easier for sure, because right now when you self-publish, you do everything yourself. Or you outsource it, but that job, that project management is all you. So I would, that would be nice, but there's a balance for sure, because you do, to your point, have to go by their deadlines, and you may have to release a cover that you're not 100% happy with. Right. So I'm good in the space that I'm in.
That's happened to me before too. I've released a book that I wasn't really happy with the cover. I was like, all right, well, I didn't give them my own cover. That's what they felt, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. So now when do you, before I even get to that question, you said you set out knowing that you wanted to do a 3-book series. So sometimes, like when I have a series, but with my series, I wrote my series because people really liked a certain character. So I kept writing other books about that character. So so it sounds to me that you had already planned on writing a series.
Yes, I made a lot of mistakes in writing. So for when I wrote The Wind, I should have thought that through to see, how many books that I wanted to do, and kind of like what would be the storyline of each book. I didn't do that because that was supposed to be a standalone book. But when I got to the end, I was like, I can do a little bit, more with this story. So then book 2, and I'm actually thinking about writing book 3, but I haven't wrapped my head around all the plot points and conflicts that I would want to be in that story. So it's possible that a book 3 will come out on The Wind, but so this one that I'm writing now, I did take a step back and got it all thoroughly. When I got it all down as far as what the concentration of each book. because I was going to say thoroughly, but I kind of drafted a rough draft, as far as the outline, but it's not 100%, but I do know what every book is going to focus on. So that's something that I learned to do as I continue my writing journey.
Well, I love the fact that you picked up lessons learned along the way and you apply them to the next project. What are some other lessons that you've learned along the way?
Try not to second guess yourself so much, because with Sunday Swap, even with the topic and with the storyline, I second guessed myself the whole way. I was like, will Christians receive this because it's a body swap, as a male pastor entering into the body of a female, just second guessing. And then I wasn't sure, okay, this has been done before. Does this even make sense for me to do this same story, but kind of differently? So we as writers, we second guess ourselves a lot.
Yeah.
And then even with the win lottery, okay, I guess maybe, thinking too much of what other people will think, maybe. Yeah. And you because I'm in the Christian space, there's lines I do not want to cross. And I am particular as far as, I don't want to have any curse words in there, that sort of thing. So,
right.
Even someone wrote that in a review to kind of confirm my decision. They're like, I'm so glad that you didn't have any cursing in your book. People say that it's a Christian book, but then they have cursing and then they have this. I'm like, well, great. That confirmed my my thoughts.
Yeah,
so,
and that happens, and that's why I said there are certain Christian authors who get a lot of flack because they wanted to write their books a little differently. They wanted to show that their characters were like real people. And then if you watch the TV show Kingdom Business on BET Plus, it's a Christian show, but the characters curse. They argue with each other. They lie.
That is real life. Yes. I must say that is real life.
Yeah. But when it comes to Christian books, a lot of the main core audience of Christian books does not want to see that.
I agree.
Yeah. So I think it makes it a little harder, and you just have to be sure that this is the way you want to write your book. Are you going to go against the grain and put all of the cursing and sex and everything and still call it in a Christian book? And then how do you sell it as a Christian book with all of this in
it? Right. You can't just slap Christian on it.
Right.
It's a church setting.
They prayed at the end, so it's a Christian book.
Right. Yeah, it is a balance. And, knowing your voice is another lesson. So I had to know that going in and staying true to my voice and my brand. So that's another lesson that I've learned. And then, talking about, let's go back to the prayer book for a second, because I tell you that I didn't want to, not that I didn't want, I never thought about writing a prayer book. But when I was at a online seminar, that one of the editors said that we needed more prayer books. I was like, that don't even sound right. There's so many prayer books out there. But I said, okay, this is the right thing for me to do. I mean, this is right in my wheelhouse. So I'll take a stab at it. And I made the book simple to understand and straight to the point. Kind of like when you get a product and you see the manual on how to set the product up. I just want one page. That's it. Don't give me a book, because that means that the product is too hard for me. That's me. But so, I made it just to the point and tried to cover everything that I could about just being effective in prayer, just the foundations. Let me say, when in doing the prayer book, one of the things that kind of I don't know, sets me apart, if you will, is because at the church that I was at, I was selected to be the prayer ministry leader. So that was my, that was my ministry. And so I've done it for several years. And let me tell you, when the pastor told me that, that was my ministry, I was disappointed because I thought it was boring. I said, to myself, I was like, I thought hospitality should be my ministry because, that's what I like. And so I was disappointed. And thought I was boring. And so I really had to, get my mind right, get my spirit right, as far as this prayer thing. And, prayer is just talking to God.
Yes.
In the simplest form. That's what it is.
I think we mystify prayer sometimes. We make it seem like we have to pray like the pastor does, or we have to pray like the head deacon does. And it's just like you said, that prayer is just talking to God. And sometimes just saying, Lord, help me is a prayer.
It is. Absolutely, it is. Yeah, that's as simple as that. So now what I do want to say, maybe shocking, is that not everybody should be praying. I mean, like if you don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ, the Lord is not hearing your prayers. So, I mean, that's like point number one, because God is all of our creator, but he's not all of our father. I mean, you choose for him to be your father. So we're all, created beings, but when you accept Jesus Christ, then God becomes your father. And the father listens to his children's prayers. So if you don't have that basis down, the first prayer you need to pray is, Lord, save me, and accept Jesus Christ as your savior. Then the door is open, because prayer is a privilege. And, I thought it was a chore. Okay. At first, but prayer is a privilege. You get to talk to your Father all throughout the day. Tell him everything you want to tell him, the minuscule and the mountaintop stuff. And he hears you. I mean, that is so amazing that he hears you. And so I talk about like the foundational stuff about prayer, and then just the fact that we as Christians can come to God ourselves. Before you had to have a priest who would go in and pray for you, go in the tent and the holies of holies. But when Jesus Christ died, that veil was torn from top to bottom, and it tore that separation. So now we can go to God ourselves, and that is amazing to me. That Father hears me and he wants the best for me. And as long as I am praying in his will, and you got to read the Bible to know what his will is, because I mean, just because you put in Jesus' name on there, it don't mean that he's going to give you that. It's not, you can't like name it and claim it, which, unfortunately, some ministries, that's what they teach. But no, you just can't name it and claim it. You've got to pray in his will, in faith, and in Jesus' name. So just a little.
So we are speaking with Reverend Shalonda McFarland.
I do have pastors and preachers in my family line, but God has not revealed that to me at all.
No, seriously though, that was a word that somebody needed to hear. I mean, it's because I think, like I said, we mystify prayer sometimes. So I'm glad that you took the time to share that. Thank you for that.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah. So we are talking with, and Sandra Payton Young says thank you, amen as well.
Thank you, Miss Sandra.
Okay, so we have been talking with Shalonda McFarland. She is an 8-time Christian author. Her latest book is Sunday Swap, and I can see it right behind you.
Yes.
Is it really behind you, or is that your
That's it. That's Sunday Swap.
Okay. No, I didn't know if that was the actual book or if that was a virtual background.
It's a virtual background.
Oh, okay. Because I was about to say, grab it and show it to the people.
My real background, I'm in a no. My real background, I don't even know what I'm doing in my background yet. I don't know how I want to set it up yet. So I've got some eclectic stuff going on. So Let me put this virtual up real fast.
I got you. I got you. Well, it has been wonderful talking with you this evening. Thank you so much for being on the show. And I will be back in touch so we can work on your press release and we can put the media list together so we can pitch you to some media. And then I need some information from you so I can make your one sheet. We are about to make this happen. So I am really glad that Meet the World Image Solutions is going to be able to support you. And I hope that we continue to just stay in touch with each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much. You enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you. All right, y'all. That was Miss Shalonda McFarland. And that comes to the end of Horizons Author Lounge. And thank you so much for joining me tonight. I had a great time. I hope you all did as well. Do not forget about the Black History Month Literary Weekend. Also, don't forget to go to my Etsy store because I know y'all see my cute hoodie. All I Want for Christmas is a bestseller. And so if you like the hoodie, I will be putting the Etsy link in the chat so you can click on the link and check out the Team MTW holiday line. And also, I'm going to remind you guys once again. In fact, I think I'm just going to go ahead and just show y'all the video once again.